The State of Ohio versus Jacqueline Markham. Ms. Markham is before the court with her counselor, Mr. Hust. Ms. Nicholson, on behalf of the State of Ohio, we're here for sentencing. Ms. Nicholson, anything on behalf of the state?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is requesting that Ms. Markham be sentenced to a minimum of 24 months in prison. This is not her first failure to comply. This is her first OVI, but she does currently still have an OVI pending out of Marysville that was pending at the time of this offense that she failed to appear on due to being incarcerated on this case. The underlying facts of this case are that when Franklin Police Department attempted to initiate a traffic stop, Ms. Markham did in fact stop, spoke with the officer for approximately 60 seconds. When he asked her to exit the vehicle, she put the car in drive and drove away at a high rate of speed. In fact, the officer believes she had crashed because she was hitting the curbs so hard and he lost sight of her. Turns out she fled to
Ms. Nicholson, folks, would you please sit down?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
She fled to her residence where Springboro and Franklin officers cleared that residence, ultimately locating Ms. Markham in a closet. She continued to be kind of verbally uncooperative with officers until she was booked into the Warren County Jail. Clearly, her past conduct has not, and those consequences have not taught her anything. She has not learned from that. So we do believe a prison sentence is appropriate in this case.
All right. Thank you. Anything from probation?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Hust?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon. The facts are egregious. I can't quibble with those. I've been through all of the discovery and seen repeated perspectives from the different body cams and so forth. Behind all this conduct is some serious mental issues that have to be addressed with weekly mental health individual sessions and contact with a psychiatric provider to make sure that any medication she has for mental illness are properly adjusted. It's my understanding from a message from her aunt that the aunt would be able to provide a home, a residence for her. I understand there haven't been any rule violations in the jail since she's been held. And I understand, too, that her probation in Middletown, at least the probation there, had been working out. She's entitled to, as I understand, 148 days of credit for time served.
Ms. Markham, is there anything you'd like to say?
Yes, I had a panic attack at the time, and I don't remember much of exactly what happened, which is kind of scary to me. But other than that, I've been in jail for, I think it's 147 days today. And I've been complying and working as a trustee in the pod in the jail. Just a panic attack, I kind of feel like I'm having one now. Like I've been getting them a little bit more so as I age. As I get older, and I had just gotten to counseling to work with different medications for those.
Are you folks with her today?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And who are you?
I'm her Aunt Jan. It's my home that she lived in.
Okay.
And I was her caretaker during this time when she had this episode. Are you aware of her true mental issue?
Am I aware of her true mental issues? I don't have no idea what that even means.
She is a schizophrenic. I gave Bruce all her medical information from Butler Behavior, Atrium Hospital, Access in Middletown. She had an episode, and what the prosecutor's table said is not true. And if you did read the police officer's report, she was out of sorts. I've spoke with him myself as well as read the report.
What did she say that was not true?
She has no memory of that night.
Whoa. You said two different things there. You said what the prosecutor said was not true.
What?
Tell me exactly what she said that is not true, ma'am. And that's what she's being sentenced for today. Do you understand that? So when she says she's being non-compliant, she was non-compliant by definition. I mean, and she's admitted to that. She's been found guilty of that. So tell me what again, tell me again what she said that you say is not true.
May I speak?
I'm going to give you this opportunity.
Well, when I say non-compliant, even in the report from the Franklin police officer, because all of them was at my residence, I'm very aware of what happened because I was there. I allowed them in my home. She was so out of it, answering, doing simple commands was beyond her. When you are in a full-blown schizophrenic episode.
Plus alcohol.
Yes, plus
Okay.
alcohol.
See, here's the problem that I have with what you're saying. And again, I'm not disagreeing that there aren't some mental health issues here.
Oh, they're severe.
Okay. You've lived with it. I have not. The problem is when you have someone that is being, is she supposed to be on medication?
Yes.
Is she compliant with that medication? No.
Well,
Number one, no. And number two, I'm going to guess that her psychiatrist that prescribed her that mental health medication would not approve of her also using alcohol and driving a motor vehicle and fleeing at high speeds from police. I'm just guessing.
well, I don't agree with that either. However,
Okay, so that's what we're here
we
today
had
for.
2 deaths in 3 days in our family.
Ma'am, people deal, ma'am, stop right there. I understand that people deal with grief differently, but when you have a mental health problem, you're on mental health medications that you may or may not be complying with, and you're adding alcohol to the mix, then you're getting behind the wheel of a car and she's driving to the extent where she's claiming she doesn't even remember driving, fleeing from police at high speed. She puts herself at risk. She puts that police officer at risk, and she puts the general public at risk, which I have a duty to defend. So if we're all clear on all of those facts, there simply is no excuse that you can give me, whether it's mental health, drug and alcohol addiction, or grieving a loss of a loved one, because everyone experiences those things. But it's how you respond to those. So today she's here because she didn't respond very well. She broke the law. This is a felony of the 3rd degree. And one of my obligations, and again, I don't want to get into an argument with you about this because you want what's best for your niece, right?
Well, she has not been able to receive the proper treatment. In my county's jail, the nurse, I will have to say, the staff has been wonderful. They locked her down as soon as she got here. Me and the Springboro police officer who had worked with behavior health across the street, that'd been to our home many times, knew she was in an episode. We called over here. They locked her down. When she was released out of that to the general population, the nurse had her call me, and she said, they said I did bad things. What did I do? If she has no memory, and if you understand what schizophrenia episodes are, it's not a choice. No one wants to be a schizophrenic any more than they want to have dementia. And we were only on our second month of medication.
The place where you and I will always disagree is, if someone has a mental health and she's under your care, or when someone has a mental health condition that they recognize that they have it, that they're prescribed medication to help them deal with that mental health situation.
And it's
you've already admitted to me that she was not compliant with taking her mental health medication that was properly prescribed. And on top of that, she's drinking alcohol to the point where she's operating a vehicle impaired. Both of those put people at risk. I'm not going to continue this argument with you.
I agree with that.
Because again, I recognize the mental health aspect of it, but I have an obligation on the other side as well to the general public that when someone drives impaired at a high rate of speed, fleeing from a police officer, we have a problem in our county with people doing that. People coming from Dayton or Cincinnati, they want to come through our county, and for some reason they think that that the police are not allowed to pursue them. It is not true. The police are allowed to pursue them. And when people do not follow the instructions and orders, lawful orders of a police officer, they put themselves, they put the officer, and they put the general public at risk. And I have one or two of these cases every week where people flee from police. And someone's going to have to get the message out that you can't do that. You know, I'm sure you've seen the reels on social media with people sitting in their cars and saying, I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to do what you say. Yes, you do. And people that act that way, they deserve whatever consequences come their way from my perspective. So again, I want to recognize her mental health, and I believe that I am, but there was always consequences when we make a choice. And her choice that day was to get behind the wheel of a car, consume alcohol to the point where she was impaired, and she fled from an officer.
She was not just impaired by alcohol, though, is my point.
Yeah.
Sir, is there something you'd like to add to this conversation?
Yeah. So I just want to say my name is Miles Barrera. It's very nice to meet you, Your Honor. I'm a recent friend of hers. We became friends about 3 years ago. I kind of left and went to different states. We'd kind of been estranged for a minute. Honestly, our relationship started romantically and we ended as just friends. I just wanted to say that I appreciate you acknowledging the mental health issues, but I actually didn't know that she had gotten to the point that she had, that she is at now. And it was, I came back to state. I didn't even know she was in jail. I came back to the state recently. I tried to get in touch with her, and there was a day that she was released to go to the dentist, and I got in touch with her, and I got in touch with Jan, and I found out about the situation. I found out from what Jan has told me, a diagnosis of schizophrenia. All I just wanted to say is that I experienced before this, Jacqueline. It seems like she does go into different mental states, and it's almost like you're talking to a different person. And it is regardless of alcohol. I understand that she did drink that day, and that was her choice. There was a lot of hardship, and I know Jan's very emotional, and there was a lot of hardship in the family that led up to the events of that day. You know, I know that Jan just happened to leave. Jan was dealing with a lot. She just happened to leave her keys out where Jacqueline could see them, and it was a mistake that, amongst deaths, she's been beating herself up on the phone for me for leaving the keys out. We've really been. She's been trying, and I'm starting to try to be a part of making her healthy again and whatnot. But it's been a lot for her. She doesn't have any parents, and I know that none of that justifies breaking the law. But I hope that you take that into consideration. I've been talking to her in jail. She's been varying degrees of good and bad. Some days I talk to her and I feel like I'm talking to Jacqueline. Other days I talk to her and it doesn't feel like I'm talking to Jacqueline. I think jail has been very hard on her. That's the point of it. I understand. But yeah, I would ask for you to take those into consideration. So.
And again, when I'm looking at, I don't sentence. I don't have set and hard rules for sentencing, but I will say, like I said earlier, with these types of offenses, we have a problem here in our county with people doing this. The prosecutor's office position is always, and it doesn't matter how many times they've had it before, whatever their prior record is, they're always asking for 24 months. That's what they always ask for. I don't always agree with them, and those two ladies sitting there, the prosecuting attorneys, will tell you that I do these on an individualized basis. And it's not uncommon for me to grant community control to someone who's committed this offense. However, when someone comes before me and this is their second time doing it, that's a problem. All right, let me sit.
Just one more thing, Your
Yes,
Honor.
sir.
Just I just want to put this on the record. Ms. Riley talked about some papers that she'd sent to me regarding Jacqueline's mental health. I did receive those. I thought I went through them. I thought the best use of those would be to give them to the pre-sentence investigation folks, and that's what I
They're
did.
part of the pre-sentence investigation, so thank you for that clarification. The court has considered the statements made here today, the purposes and principles of sentencing, the relevant seriousness and recidivism factors. The court does find that you are not amenable to community control at this time, and the prison is necessary. I'm sorry?
That was the radio. Your Honor, can I say one more thing? We've been talking back and forth on the email.
Sir, you're not going to change my mind at this point. Please understand that I everything that you've said, I've taken into consideration, but you must now allow me to finish my sentence. All right. Court has considered the pre-sentence investigation, the purposes and principles of sentencing, including punishment, deterrence, and protection of the public. So I am going to order you to serve 24 months in prison. You have 148 days jail time credit. You are hereby ordered, your license is suspended for your lifetime on the failure to comply. On the OVI charge, you're ordered to serve 180 days in the Warren County Jail. That to be served concurrent with the 24 months. There is a $565 mandatory fine on the OVI, which I do not have the authority to waive. So that fine is assessed against you. 3-year operator's license suspension on the OVI, that to be effective December 31st, 2025. Other than the mandatory fine, the court finds that you're indigent for the purpose of any fines, costs, or other financial sanctions. Now, you're also subject to a mandatory period of post-release control, which means when you are released from prison, the Adult Parole Authority will supervise you for not less than 1 year, no more than 3 years. Ms. Markham, before you leave, I understand this is very heavy, bad news for you and for your family. Ma'am, I am trying to be patient with you, but when you act up in my courtroom, you're not making it any better for yourself nor for your niece. So please sit there and listen to what I'm saying. I'm addressing your niece now, so I don't want you acting up.
I'm just having a hard time.
And I'm having a hard time with you acting up, so if you do it again, you're leaving my courtroom. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Markham, I know that this is not the news that you wanted to hear today. I do understand the situation as was described by your family members. I want to give you some hope, okay? So I will consider a motion for judicial release after you have served a period of incarceration, okay? Do you understand what that means? I have the authority to suspend further execution of your prison sentence and to place you into community control as your family is requesting. Okay, I have that authority. I have that discretion, if you will. And I want to give you that hope. So when you get to your institution, follow the rules, do what you can to make yourself better. And then in a few months, I will see you back here. And perhaps we will talk about community control at that time. Is there anything else, Ms. Nicholson?
Nothing from the stateroom.
Anything else?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
All right, that's all.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Crowe.